You're watching the WPH Race 4-8. It's Chip Morales up against Michael Schneider. One-game match to 25. This is a qualifier final. And I believe we're going to have one heck of a good match here, depending on which one of those Mike Schneiders show up. Referee is John Bike. You hear a lot of court sounds here.
Ready? Game on.
I want to welcome Dave Fink to the booth here. You'll listen to this announcement from John Bike.
Morales serving 0, serving 0.
And we are back in. Chip says that he wants to get back into the swing of things and play like he did back in Fresno, where he was showing everybody that he was an elite player. But since that time, we have not seen the same Chip Morales.
That's a terrible hander there from Chip. But Chip, Dave, to his credit, is one of the most positive people you could ever meet. One of my favorite people, actually. But he's always thinks that he's found it between tournaments. So every time you see him at the next tournament, he's always, you know, talking about how he's got his game back. And I think that's encouraging, Dave.
It is encouraging, but I find
the year that he's had.
I find it great because he's always trying. He doesn't give up. Unless he's playing. And then you see him and he's losing. But in between tournaments, you're right, he's very positive. Mike Schneider playing pretty good ball right now.
I don't know if you've seen Mike Schneider play, Dave, serious four-wall handball before, but this guy is a serious player. And I know you were shocked last week when he beat Daniel Cordova at the NYAC Invitational. Well, and that's the kind of talent that this guy has.
There were bags of sand on that match, but since he did not play his next round match, he forfeited out of the tournament, also forfeited the bags of sand.
How exactly does that work?
Well, if you don't play in the tournament, by forfeiting, you lose everything that you've done prior. And I tried to explain this to him. He said, that's not the way it works in New York. And I said, well, I'm in Tucson.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you went with Tucson rules even though the match was in New York?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I made the bet, the sand bet, that is.
Okay.
I mean, it was really sand.
So he who initiates the bet plays by the rules of his club or his state.
So I went on to Granger.com.
Yeah.
You know, our good buddy Jim Garner used to be the national sales director. I went on to Granger.com and I ordered, and I know that you're going to find this somewhat funny.
Yeah.
But
Probably not.
I ordered 40 bags of sand. Now I had my option of 10 pound, 5 pound, 20.
Yeah.
I went with the 20 pound. It was a little extra.
Yeah.
But he now has sitting on his doorstep when he gets back to New York, he is going to find 40 20-pound bags of sand at his doorstep.
So you actually overpaid because the bet was only for 100 bags.
Well, a typical bag is less than the 20 pounds, but all I could do is one pallet, and a pallet's pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got 40 bags. Now, the great thing is, the next big flood or hurricane that they have come up hit New York, he'll have these sand bags available to help keep the water out of his apartment complex.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate for him. It was a little spindy, but that was a short ball.
Second serve.
These guys don't realize I actually pay in bags of sand.
There's some talk of webcast viewers that wish more than anything you would stop talking about bags of sand, but I have to say, I want more bags of sand. It's kind of like cowbells to me. I want to hear more about bags of sand. I don't want you to ever stop talking about bags of sand. So if you're thinking about bags of sand, talk about it. If bags of sand come up, talk about it even more. And if you're not thinking about it, start thinking about it and then talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. I need more bags of sand.
Well, I should have put some sand on this match.
Well, I would have thought you learned your lesson.
That's an avoidable, no? Replay from John Bike. Chip tried to duck, then he tried to move to the left, then moved to the right. Mike Schneider goes with a reverse, but you see there's a little glitch in his swing on his reverse serve, so you can pick that up pretty quick. That was another short, and that's a side out. That's a double fault, Dave, from Mike Schneider, who, speaking of sand, got bounced for 35 bags for not wearing an approved shirt during this live broadcast match.
Now, since these matches are just one game, he's only fined $35. But if this goes to overtime, does that fine
Yes.
actually increase?
Yeah, it does.
So is it just a one-time overtime increase, or does that, based on how many points it goes into overtime, determine how big of the fine? I mean,
Well,
is it, say, 26-24, is that a $35 additional fine, or is that just $5
Well, let me
because
just,
it just went 1 point into overtime?
I'll just clarify because I know you're wondering.
Yeah.
If a player is told to change their shirt by the referee, or if they just routinely change it
Yeah.
back into a non-approved shirt,
Yeah.
then the fine is you get another fine for that. So you're forced to wear this thing until you change it. Now, if the referee says you need to change a shirt, that's another $35, even if it's in the same match. Okay,
so if he puts on another non-approved shirt, that's another $35.
Yeah, because he had to change it.
But you didn't answer my question about overtime.
It's just a flat fee. Overtime's flat. It can go to 100 to 102.
So is overtime another 35?
It's just another 35, yeah.
So the maximum you can get if you don't change your shirt is $70 in one match.
If you don't, yes.
Yeah. But if you do change your shirt,
It could be
it's unlimited.
It could be indefinite, yeah, depending on how many shirts you brought.
Is there a max fine? I mean,
It should be.
but there isn't.
There isn't.
So we could see somebody theoretically,
Lose their prize money.
well, at least $140 in a match. I mean, you could go through 4 shirts easily in one of these matches. Yeah.
2, serving 4.
So glad we clarified that. Sounds like the old WPH again. It's a strange fish shot right there from Mike Schneider off the back wall, dead center. Chip puts it away down the right line there. The scoreboard powered by Zions, the official
4, serving 2.
sports drink of the UFC and the official sports drink of the WPH, and that's a beautiful power reverse from Chip Morales that never even made it to the back wall. Bounced a couple
5,
times.
serving 2.
Schneider put a hand on it, but not much going on there.
Terrible hand out there from Chip. And, you know, Dave, he's struggling with his left hand right now. He's struggled with the left hand off the bounce and also off the back wall. 4 hand airs already with the left hand for Chip Morales.
Well, Dave, Chip just made it, that's a short ball, made a big move to San Antonio, Texas. He's a lifelong Fresno and then lived in the Midwest when he went to college at Missouri State. Nice pickup right there from Schneider.
Terrible left there from Chip. That's a nice pickup from Chip.
No, it was 2 bounces. The ball was also short. I'd be appealing that serve if I were Chip. But nonetheless, Dave, he just made a big move with his wife
Serving 5.
from California to Texas. And it's difficult to do that and still stay up with handball and get acclimated to the handball community and all that. You'll find out. I know you're moving to Tucson. Nice behind the back corner kill from Chip.
Well, Dave, I chose my move during the biggest break on the Race Freight Tour, so I'd have an opportunity to acclimate myself during one of my self-imposed breaks from the game after this tournament. I will be taking 18 days off after my last match here. I feel like that will give me ample time to get back into the swing of things before Salt Lake City.
So you could have moved earlier then.
Well, that seems to be a conclusion that you're drawing. I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
Based on the information you gave me, Chip has a has a setup and Mike floors it. That was a tip into the ground there, worm burner from Mike Schneider, who, like you said last week, played very tough. He played Danny Cordova, who was in the finals of the 2 straight collegiate championships, defeated him, which I felt was a pretty good line score. I mean,
I think that was the best win I've ever heard of Mike Schneider having in 4-1. Now, he may disagree with that, but in my opinion.
Well, I see Cordova as a guy that should be qualified.
Well, he's in that mix for sure. Now, I don't know if he can beat Abraham Montijo. He lost to him
Well,
badly
I don't
last year.
think he can beat Abraham. Not the way that Abe plays it.
But I mean, you're talking about if he comes to this event, he'd have to beat either Abraham, Chip, or Schneider, who he lost to last week, Anthony Celesto, who's the #1 seed here overall, or Dave, the final guy, which would be
Vic Perez.
Vic Perez. So I mean, that's a pretty tough road there. You know, the Lake Forest team, Dave,
3,
went
serving
to
7.
the NYSC Invitational last week and went 0-10 after winning the national championship the week before. I told them, I said, you're not in Kansas anymore. This is the big time. And it wasn't even
Point.
the full big time. It was just sort of
Half big?
half big,
Okay.
yeah. And they still went 0-10. I said, you know, sometimes, you know, you're on that pedestal and you come here and play with the big boys and you find out
4,
there's
serving
a lot more steps on that ladder.
That ball might have been short. And you're going to see Chip complain about it. But he doesn't. That's the one thing about this high elevation is it's hard to complain.
5, serving
Sometimes you
7.
just look at the referee and say, forget it. I'm having a tough time keeping the oxygen in my body right now.
5, serving 7. Point. 6, serving 7. Point.
And a nice shot right there from Schneider. This is going to come down to who's in better shape. Both
Well,
of these guys are just sparring back and forth. Schneider looks better with his technical shots, but we're still tight at 7 here. And
Well,
Schneider
remember-
doesn't even look like he's breathing hard yet.
Short.
Well, Chip, to me, looks like he's completely spent. I mean, he looked tired when he took that 3-0 lead.
Second serve.
And Chip will tell you that, you know, conditioning has been a huge liability for him.
Point.
And Dave Schneider is sneaky good, but I'm not so sure he's going to be sneaky anymore after today. If he qualifies here today, Dave, it could be
8,
Schneider on the
serving
radar.
7.
That was a reverse.
Now, Dave, we talked about the Tucson handball community with
That's good.
Abe Montillo and Luis Moreno and yourself and
Timeout, Chip, your first.
me moving there, and then you've got the
1
Chicago
minute.
community. But don't
Score is
forget about
7,
that New
serving
York
8.
handball four-wall community. You're talking about Tyree Bastidas, Billy O'Donnell, who's beat Emmett Peugeot and Sean Lenning. Mike Schneider, should he qualify here, becomes a viable threat. You've got some other guys, Dave.
Charlie Shanks.
Charlie Shanks, of course, Dave, the #1 player in the world.
You have Vlad Clem, and you also have Raul Ratiam.
Yeah. And that's a strong community.
4-wall community, certainly.
Of course, the best one-wall community also.
But, you know, you're also seeing Cesar Sala play 4-wall.
Yeah, Caesar's a good
And
player.
he's no slouch. We saw how well he played against Paul Brady at the World Championships when he was leading 9-4 before losing 21-9. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
scoring just a point off Paul Brady is not the easiest thing to do.
Handling guys who are coming back late. I remember what you did. If I have to do the same thing.
What can I do? I don't know what you're talking
You'll only see if they try to be late. Game on.
about. What are you talking about?
You'll see. Okay, Schneider, no, sorry. Chip serving. 7, serving 8.
I'm going to be at this close.
This is a big setup for Chip. Takes it with his right hand, pushes it right back off the back wall. Schneider does what Chip should have done. You hear Chip Morales yelling at
8,
himself.
serving 7. Short. Second serve. Do
There's-
that over.
A little contact, a little bit of screen going on. John sees it. Our referee calls a
8,
do-over.
serving 7.
8-7.
Great. One screen. Thank you.
Schneider with an ace serve there. Dave Schneider, similar to Sean Lenning, gets a lot of action just by flicking
9,
his
serving
wrists.
7.
And he sort of has that Sean Lenning game where he looks lackadaisical, but generates a lot of power, seemingly flat-footed.
Second serve.
He's playing good ball here.
Excellent.
Contact. Do it again.
Dave, you think about the guys that even lost today in the round of 16, or excuse me, in the qualifier final.
Serving 7.
You could see those 1 through 4 guys being pushed tomorrow. I mean, either Mike Schneider or Chip playing a 1 through 4, John Bike playing a 1 through 4. You know, Dave Munson, who's been a pro player before, playing a 1 through 4. I mean, these are guys that could really do some damage tomorrow. We could see another Celesto. That's
It all
become a
depends.
verb.
Yeah, but it actually is a term that is used on the race for 8 now.
Yeah.
But, you know,
got Celesto.
Serving 7.
got Celestoed.
Yeah.
He's actually part of the rules now, the official rules. But, you know, with that, it all comes down now to this blind draw, which is probably one of the most interesting blind draws we've had of the whole season, because how do these guys match up?
11. Serving 7.
And maybe we can talk about that just a little bit, Dave, but
Well, the only controversy that
Point.
we have, and when I say controversy, I mean conflict where a player can't play another player because they played in the last event, was Abe Montijo playing Emmett. So we know that Abe will not be playing Emmett, so he's got either John Iglesias, Aaron Garner, or Andy Nett.
okay.
Now, if Mike Schneider were to win here, Dave, he would face Andy Nett, who beat him to qualify in Atlanta last year in what was a very close match.
It was
I don't
really
know if you
close.
remember that. but
Yeah, it was. It was like a 24 to 23 type, 24 to 22 or 25 to 23, something like that.
Yeah, and remember, it was Andy Nett who jumped out to a huge lead, 14-1. Mike came storming back, and ultimately it was
13. Serving
Andy
7.
who came through there. And, you know, Mike Schneider, Dave, has had success
14,
against John
37.
Iglesias. He hasn't played Aaron Garner, but this is a guy, Dave, that I think will be really dangerous for those 5 through 8 guys.
I would say in the top 4, nobody really wants to pull Charlie Shanks because he is currently ranked number 1 as we head into halftime, and we'll continue this discussion now, even though we have that 3 minutes. And no defense, no offense to you, Dave, because you are currently ranked 3 in at least with the seedings here. But just watching how Shanks played in Alaska in his early rounds, he just dismantled people in like 6, 7, 8 minutes, just like Moreno did on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to see Shanks, people in that lost in the qualifier don't want to play against Shanks. But you're also going to see, you know, let's see how well the wind is in the lungs of Sean Lennon. I mean, has he been practicing? Because this altitude's going to affect him. We go over to you, Dave. You had a great showing last week in NYAC. I don't think anybody wants to play you at 3. Nobody wants to play Luis Moreno in 3.
No.
But the way it works out here in Denver, there are 3 really strong qualifier losers that could have actually been qualifier winners.
Yeah.
And now, these guys are split here. You see Schneider up pretty big against Chip. Looks like Chip, if he were to go on to lose, is a former Elite 8. And that means
in that lucky loser round.
being a lucky loser round, a guy that
remember, he was invited to the last 5 pro stops, and now he's here in the qualifier. Looks like he might not even qualify.
But I see a guy like him trying extra hard because he has been competing against these guys and he knows their game. He doesn't know Schneider's game.
Well,
so
does that favor Schneider? Because Schneider, you know, Schneider watches all the webcasts, so he's seen everyone's game. These guys don't know him, though.
Right.
So, I mean, does that favor Mike, or is it, you know, harder for Mike having seen these guys and maybe he's a little bit intimidated because he says, hey, these guys are top-level players. I watch them every couple of weeks online. Or is it, you know, I'm not intimidated and these guys don't know what I'm going to do, so I've got an advantage?
Well, I don't find Mike Schneider being intimidated by anybody or anything, because I believe, and it's much like Shorty Ruiz, playing in that outdoor game where people are yelling during your serve and trying to intimidate you, that's not even part of the match. I mean, that's just, you know, I don't know if that could even translate into 4-wall, but I think Mike has a different focus here this week. You can see it right now in this match right here. He looks like he's about ready to qualify. And he's not letting anything affect him. He's going in there playing a strong game. It's pretty amazing.
It'll be even more amazing if he wins here today and actually shows up for his match tomorrow.
That's the new WPH. Just telling the truth.
Huh.
The old WPH used to rub it in your face. Now we just.
And
tell
now
the truth.
I'd like to be the first to report that Mike has now been fined another $35. That brings his total for this match alone to 70 for non-approved
It
WPH
sounds to me
gear.
as if you are happy to report this.
Why would you say that? I mean,
You just sound happy.
is Bob Costas happy to report the news? I mean, I don't know. In a way, obviously it benefits me because I will be on that trip to Tahiti. Every dollar is going to make the trip more enjoyable. So, okay, yeah, in a way I'm happy. I hate to see Mike have to give up his hard-earned bags of sand, but at the same time, it's going to a good cause.
Nice get right there from Chip, like he poked it over there.
Well, that looked like it would have been an ace serve, but instead, Chip Morales goes into halftime. If you come out, Dave, Chip's been outscored 8-0 here in the last eight points scored, but Chip comes out and gets ace on that first point.
Contact, I'm sorry, I automatically called the replay, but you had contact there anyway. Yeah.
But you know, Dave, Chip comes in after halftime, hits that lucky scoop kill, could easily have lost the
Contact, correct call.
that point, even more momentum.
15.
I apologize for whatever I was trying to say there.
I just
don't
ignored
even
it.
know. I tried to tell you I wanted this match off, but you wouldn't have it, so this is what you get.
Point.
Well, I just want it known that I just fined John Bike $35 for calling a replay on a bad bounce off the back wall and then telling everybody it was contact when the players touched.
Well, he lied, so is that additional fines?
No,
Okay.
that'll be taken out on his where he's going to be living in the afterlife. Not for me to judge.
15, serving 8.
You see John Bike has a smile on his face. He can hear us too.
Pretty sure that he can.
He
Actually.
can.
Oh. I'd like to wager some bags on that.
Well, I just wrote a sign and pointed it at him and said $35. Tahiti.
So he can't hear us, but he can communicate with us, is what you're saying.
Yeah. He knows what it means.
Hold it.
Oh, tough.
And look at Chip put that shot right on the wall. Doesn't get rewarded for it, though.
I don't know if I would have replayed that.
15, serving 8.
Then again, I'm not good with refs or as a ref, so.
Look at that beautiful left from Schneider, Dave. I mean, is that about as smooth as left-hand back wall as you've seen? Oh, great get from Schneider there. Oh,
Schneider.
terrible shot from Chip.
Point.
Schneider has that right corner kill down. 21 minutes into this match, and we're at 16-8.
16, serving 8. Short. If you do it early enough. Second serve, if you do it early enough. Watch and learn.
Oh, an amazing punch kill there from Schneider. Dave, he comes over the top of that ball with a fist. He hits that right in the cuticles of his
17, serving 8.
right hand, and he has perfect control of it.
Wow, look at that.
Here's another setup for Schneider.
Wow, I think he mishit that, Dave.
No, I don't.
Dead centered, had a weird sound off the hand.
You know, I'm looking right down at his hand, Dave, and it looked like perfect contact.
Well,
He might have been aiming a little bit closer to the right side wall, but I think he hit the ball well.
Serving 8.
Well, you're clinically blind, so I'm not going to take that with any.
Actually, I had my eyes tested because of you. Cost me $50, which means it cost you $50 because I sent you the bill.
Okay.
My
And
vision was 20/25, bordering on 20/20. Very
So,
close to 20/20.
in other words,
Uh-huh.
that's what you read.
Oh.
Point.
That's what you read when you got the doctor's
Huh.
report. It was actually not 25.
Oh.
It was
19, serving 8.
21-25, but since you're blind, you thought you saw 25.
Huh.
That's how it works.
Didn't know that.
Wish I was lying.
And Mike overcommits there. I think he anticipated Chip going into the right corner, and Chip sensing Mike coming up behind him,
8, serving 19.
hit a one bounce pass.
Point.
And Dave, if Chip's going to make something happen, it has to be right now. I can't see Mike getting into the 20s here with a 12 or 13 point lead and Chip coming back from that.
Second serve.
And you know, Dave, how frustrating is it as an athlete? You know, Chip moves himself to San Antonio in large part to improve his handball game. And, you know, his game has actually gotten worse. At least the results would say that. And Dave, that happens to a lot of athletes. It's like,
1 minute.
you know, you play the game and you just sort of play for fun. You don't think much about it. Then all of a sudden you say, you know what, I want to go to the next level, take this more seriously. You find that when you take it more seriously, you get worse.
10.
And I mean, I've seen that quite a bit with a number of athletes. It just almost puts so much more pressure on you internally. And then you're not having fun anymore. You're not playing loose. And, you know, the results speak for themselves for Chip Morales. I can say that he's not done well against Alan Garner in practice matches.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, sometimes, you know, you say, well, I'm playing great in practice. It's just not translating to the tournament. But I can say that he's not been very competitive with Alan in practice.
And it has translated.
Yeah.
All right, game out.
Well, he was in a comfort zone in Fresno as being one of the top dogs there. Wow, that ball just jumped over the line.
That was an amazing serve from Chip. And once again, you see a timeout from Mike, and Chip comes in and hits a quick ace. So that's part of that 78%, Dave.
Short. Second serve.
Now, Dave, I've played Chip quite a bit, and so have you. He can score points in bunches.
Point.
He's one of these first strike artists, a serve first striker, an ace serve specialist.
12,
So,
serving 19.
you know, he can come back from these kind of deficits. I can remember, Dave, playing him in Seattle years ago, 2008. Had Chip 19-6 in the second game after I won the first game. He came back and tied it at 19.
13, serving 19.
So I've seen him do it before. Chip's almost the kind of guy, Dave, that plays better from behind. That pressure does come off. And now Chip, for the first time in this match, is controlling the front court, the center of the court. Look
Wow.
at that beautiful left from Schneider.
Well,
That
he let-
ball's right on the wall.
He let that ball drop.
But how does he let it drop and scrape the wall and still hit it that pure?
Well, that's the difference between the former Mike that we watched and the one that's in this tournament. He just has a different focus.
Well, what Mike did you watch? I don't think you've ever seen him play.
Well, I watched him in Tucson play against Abraham Montijo, and
Okay.
Point.
after defeating, I believe, Daniel Cordova in the earlier round.
Chip
This was in
actually-
the pre-qualifier,
Okay.
back in
Yeah.
the pre-qualifier
Sure.
days, and he lost badly to Abraham Montijo.
Actually, I believe that match was pretty close. I think it was about 17 and 18.
Second serve.
Actually, I think it was
you
18
might
and
remember.
19.
You might remember he had a personal bet with
No, I
Abraham
do.
for, I believe, 500 bags.
No, I believe his bet was with Fred Lewis. Fred Lewis staked Abraham in that bet, but I believe it was 18 and 19. Two close games, and then Abraham went on to beat Carlos Chavez in the Cramp match,
Right.
which was also about 18 and 19. I have a trivia question here for you today, Dave. I know normally we don't get into trivia until the business end of these events, but
Okay.
please name,
Second timeout for Chip.
and you'll get to the end of this
1 minute,
timeout,
22,
only
13.
players to forfeit a match, either main draw or qualifier, or main draw or playoff match, this season on the Race for 8-2 tour. Name all the players involved in
no.
those forfeits.
Okay, let's go back again. Say
Okay.
the question for the viewers.
And I'm going
at
to give
home.
you a little bit more time beyond this
Well,
timeout.
I just need to hear it
No,
again.
no, okay.
And also the
Name
viewers.
all of the forfeits that have happened thus far in the Race for 8-2 season, starting with the Simple Green U.S. Open.
Ooh.
Now that's either main draw or playoff matches, and name all the players involved in those forfeits. And I'll give you a hint, there
Well,
have
I
been
know.
3.
Okay, Naughty Alvarado's one of them.
Who did he forfeit against?
You didn't ask that. You said
No,
name
I
the
said
players.
name all the players involved.
Well, he did forfeit at the U.S. Open in a playoff match. I know that for a fact.
No, he did not. That was last year's U.S. Open. Yeah, Nadia Alvarado played doubles this year. So you're already wrong. Already out. Sorry.
Jeez, that was bad. You're right, it was last year.
That was
Well,
just
you didn't-
embarrassing. I mean,
Well,
I didn't what?
Well, you didn't say what season.
I
You
did.
said
I
here
said
in the
race
Race
for
for
8
8
2. We
season.
can play that back. Linda
Okay.
actually can reload that audio.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was awful. Well,
Oh, yeah, that was
okay.
not good.
Now, would you consider that Dan Armijo forfeit in Tucson?
No, I would not.
Because that was a round of 16.
That was
against
not
Charlie Shanks.
That was not officially a pro match because there was no money in that match at that
Well,
time.
there was. So you're not considering that?
No, I don't count that.
Okay.
But I will give you a rebuy, a $10 rebuy to
Okay.
answer this question. And are you willing to make that investment?
Serving 13.
Yes.
Okay.
But I can give you one.
Okay.
I believe in Houston. Chip
Side out.
Morales forfeited. How do you remember this stuff?
13, serving 22.
When you're, you know, at home watching sci-fi, I'm studying.
Chip Morales definitely forfeited in Houston.
Okay.
I don't know why I say that. I don't even know if I'm right.
You're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're now 0 for 2. You have a chance
It's only
for now a
cost another-
20.
another
See, you have a
buy-in?
chance for a $20 rebuy now.
Okay.
22,
I'll
serving
take it.
13.
Okay. So you're now in the hole for $30.
Okay.
Of course, if you get the trivia question right, you get a grand total of 0.
Point.
And another quick point there for Mike Schneider, who then, watch out what happens here. Mike Schneider points up at John Bike and says, good job.
And Chip just headbutted the back wall there, Dave. And I mean, that was a hard headbutt. That was the kind of thing you see before an NFL game. Oh, a terrible error there from Chip.
Here it is, game point. Chip is completely unraveled, and we are going to go down and have the qualifier and blind draw.
I believe that's right here, Dave, in the booth.
Well,
13.
I would like for the fans to see this, Dave, and they're downstairs, so. I know you had that all drawn up.
Yeah, I did.
Schneider takes it 25 to 15.
Actually, 13. 14.
14, excuse me. We're going to take a break. We'll be back tomorrow for the main draw here early on a Friday morning. And congratulations out to Mike Schneider. This is his first blue jersey as he now qualifies. We will go downstairs and hold that special blind draw qualifier announcement, and we'll be back again, like we said, tomorrow. So we're going to conclude this day of broadcasting. Thank you so much for watching, and congratulations to all of those that qualified today here in the Race for 8. Thanks for tuning in at racefor8.com.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh,
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay,
Yeah.
here it is. Oh,
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
all right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.